The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
How about those Brewers?
Yes.
We've become a baseball show. We are going to talk nothing about that debacle in Detroit yesterday. No, unfortunately, we will.
You know, the Brewers won.
Thank God for the Brewers.
Brewers won 6-0, the equivalent of 2 field goals.
Ooh, right down
Too
the
soon?
middle.
Too soon?
Yeah,
You.
lighten up on the guy, would you?
Yeah.
31-23, the Packers fall to the Lions at Ford Field yesterday. It was an incredible day. I tweeted at halftime, that's the worst half of football I think I've witnessed, and I've witnessed 40 years of football with this team. But that might have been
the worst in 40 years?
No, that might have been a little harsh. I think
Okay.
I was shooting from the hip a little bit there. I mean, they were not dominated in that first half, and I suppose if they had been and it was 24-0, I would probably go that route. But we all saw what happened with Mason Crosby and the missed field goals. We all saw what happened with the other mistakes, punt off the back of Kevin King, penalties, spotty offensive play. Consider this, folks. The Lions scored 17 of their 24 points in that first half by marching all of 31 yards. Okay, Blunt goes in from the 1 after the muff. They go a yard on a Rodgers fumble and go nowhere and have to settle for a field goal. And after the second fumble, they went 29 yards for a touchdown. The other drive for their 24th point was 69 yards, and 60 came on one play to Kenny Golladay. Packers gave up just 260 in this game. Offense put up over 500, but the field position battle was a nightmare all day thanks to the mistakes and the special teams misses. 337-yard difference in field position. Packers' starting drive was their 21 average. Lions, their 46.
Ooh, not good.
That is impossible, almost impossible to overcome. We'll overcome tonight. We'll overcome an injury to our scheduled guest, Kentrell Brice. Can't make it. He's in rehab with an ankle injury. Really felt bad when he told me this afternoon that he's got to go see the guys on the other side of Ridge Road over at the Packers medical Taj Mahal. And so he's out. But Antonio Morrison, Packers' new linebacker, former Indianapolis Colt, going to be working his way down here this evening, and we'll visit with Antonio tonight. Alongside, as always, Matt Z. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, not good.
2 up, 2 down, 1 even.
How often has it happened in the NFL where you don't punt at all, you almost double up on yardage over a team, and you still trail by double digits for most of the game?
McCarthy was ready for that today. He said since the merger, we're talking 1970, there have been 96 games where a team did not punt.
Okay.
And the team that does not punt wins 77% of the time.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Packers have not punted in a game 4 times in the last 5 years. They are 2-2.
Ooh.
So what's going on?
Well, they're not finishing with touchdowns, right? I mean, that's why Mason Crosby had so many field goals to miss yesterday, is they weren't finishing with touchdowns. And that's an issue. You've got to finish. You've got to get the ball in the end zone. But even with not scoring those, you're still putting yourself in a position to score, right?
Right.
And if Mason converts, you win that game. He left 13 points on that field. And I know it's tough to point the finger and get mad at Mason Crosby, but ultimately,
he's got to do his job. There's no
They
kidding.
did enough to win that game.
He's not, it got scramble time late. And this is, another week where, Rodgers puts up ridiculous numbers in the second half. Receivers go wild. Devontae was huge. The kids made some plays, but, it was 24-0. Come on. And if Aaron starts pointing fingers at game plans again, I think everybody's going to wring his neck, me included. The guy is not playing well early in games. He's off target. He's loose with the football. That's 3 fumbles. 2 of them lost yesterday. Set up Detroit in what was a silver platter first half. So he's got to get better. And I know the bulky knee is a problem, but he is running around, bolting to the sideline, up the gut for a 4th down conversion. Yeah. So it's not like he is statuesque, Lynn Dickey-like back there. He is moving around. And the Lions sack quarterbacks are now at 17 on the year, and 10 of them are on extended plays where they flush the quarterback and chase him down. That's their modus operandi. They rush 3 or 4 only.
Yep.
They drop 7 or 8 in coverage. That's why Aaron was hanging on to it. That's why he was trying to force throws late in the progression. and he wasn't completing them very often.
And that's a Matt Patricia defense. That's what he
That
did.
is,
That's
yes.
what he did with the Patriots. That was their style. You bring 3, you bring 4. Every now and then you blitz, but mostly run blitzes for that defense. And then you just put everyone in coverage and make the quarterback scramble or make mistakes.
And the Lions certainly didn't wow me. Okay,
No, not at all.
I thought the defense held up okay, placed in at impossible situations on the 1, on the 29, all those types of things. Gave up a couple of plays in the air on some acrobatic grabs. Galladay was huge for them yesterday, but Tate certainly didn't hurt him. Kerryon Johnson, the running back, found the edge a couple of times. Nick Perry, hold that edge, please. But other than that, nothing spectacular from that bunch. So, but they're not making the big plays. They're not taking it away. They're not coming up with sacks. Oh, they got 3 when Stafford was flushed, but like Martinez, kind of spying, got 2. Ha-ha on a blitz, got the 3rd. The big fellas, Perry and Matthews, quiet again. Not that they didn't force some pressures, and on one of Matthew, and on Ha-ha's actually sacked, Clay really did disruptive job. But, so there's a lot of things going on with this team that's just not right. But
And you've seen the defense step up. I mean, they pitch a shutout. They can limit you to a field goal or a touchdown. That's it in the second
that
half.
should be winnable.
I mean,
I agree.
You should win those games absolutely with this offense.
But here's the glass half full. The Rams are good. The Chiefs are good.
Yep.
Maybe the Bengals are good. Everyone else is junk. I mean, junk 5 games in. No one is really playing good football. And so the Packers are in a position. I don't think the Bears are going to run away with the NFC North, even though they're sitting at 3-1, coming off a bye. So there's still a lot out there. Plenty of time to get right, but time's getting tight. Long day, a long extra week day for the 49ers, then the bye, and then they better have it right because they're going coast to coast for the Rams and the Patriots, and the schedule gets meaty as we head towards Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you hear it year after year. You want to be playing your best football in November, but especially steamrolling into December to finish out that last month,
Let's start
heading
with,
into the playoffs.
How about good football in October?
Exactly.
Okay?
So there's time to get better. If they were peaking right now and at their best, it's a long season to try to maintain that, right?
All right.
So maybe there's just positive things ahead for this team.
Yeah, it was weird, that's for sure. But let's go to the locker room, shall we, in the Motor City. Best thing about the trip coming back was I got to the airport and saw that the Brewers finished the sweep. That was great. Got on the plane on time, and it got bumped up to first class, so that was really nice. Got home in time to do a little work and actually get in some sleep on a road game. That is rare.
What is first class like from Detroit to Green Bay?
Short, too short.
Right.
Never happens on the Atlantic flights, but
right.
So I was first class for 40 minutes.
I mean,
big deal.
We're not talking international first class.
No,
we got
I know.
reclining beds and
I know, but it was still nice.
That is nice.
Best part of the day was getting home. All right, to the locker rooms we go. Mike McCarthy's team is off to an ugly 0-2 start on the road.
Okay, that was a disappointing division loss. I think really, as you view the game, I think we just did too many things that we couldn't overcome. I thought our guys fought, made big plays. Obviously, to start, being down at halftime was obviously a hole that we couldn't quite dig ourselves out of.
This isn't the first time. What was it, 20-zip Bears?
Yeah.
24-0
Slow starts.
Lions? That was a hole that Detroit head coach Matt Patricia gladly accepted for a second win, and both coming at home.
Even when things, necessarily don't go the way you want them to go, and knowing that you still got that crowd behind you and they're still cheering and they're still making an impact on the opponent was a big advantage for us. So that was great to see tonight. I was glad that we gave them something to cheer about.
Yeah, they cheered for sure. Special teams mistakes dug the hole early, and then there was the misery of Mason. All right, 41 wide left, 42 the right upright, 38 wide right, 56 a little short and wide right, PAT off the post. Good Lord.
How many times has it happened in a game where a kicker hits both posts?
I don't know, but he found them. Mason's misery lasted 59 minutes and 58 seconds.
This one, unfortunately, was really bad, and going to have to really look at this one. And this one hurts a bunch. We left a lot of points on the field for this team. Disappointed in my performance, and this is. I look back, I'm thinking childhood, high school. This is definitely one of the worst. So bummed about that.
Should be bummed about that, but he did knock through the 41-yarder at the gun, almost the gun.
Yeah, gave them a desperation shot.
Changed shoes, tried everything. The swing's the thing, and the swing wasn't there.
Which he has said is not uncommon for him to bring multiple pairs of shoes to see which one feels right.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially when the footing is bad. But in the last 3 years, Crosby has missed 4 field goals, 4 field goals, 4 field goals. Misses 4 in one day. Unbelievable.
It's just something I've never seen before from a kicker.
Either.
Yeah, it's just... Now, here's what's interesting. If this would have been a playoff game and he had that performance and the Packers are knocked out of the playoffs, are people calling for him to be fired, cut him, get rid of Crosby?
No, I think people
we got to go in a new direction.
I think people have some sympathy with Mason. He went through a very rough year in 2012, came very close to being given up on. But he rebounded and has been solid since. He's the franchise's all-time leading scorer. I'll give him a week or two to shake this off.
Absolutely.
Come on, without much problem.
He's been so good.
And after every miss, he went to the sidelines, head in hands, and there were guys waiting for him. Aaron Jones, the running back, says, you know what, we've got his back.
Just stick behind him. He's our teammate. He's our brother. And we've seen all that he's done for the Packers. So we can't turn our back on him now. He needs us the most. So we're going to be there for him. We have all the confidence in the world, and we still trust him.
But in the moment, what are those guys on the sideline thinking? I mean, it can't immediately be, hey, we got to go hug this guy and cheer this guy up. I'm sure there's disappointment, right?
Obviously, yeah.
There's got to be that feeling of being let down.
You got to. Do your job. I didn't see any bad snaps or bad holds.
No, it looked okay.
It looked okay.
The operation,
The operation. And it is a brand new operation with 2 rookies. You know, and he missed a PAT earlier. 52-yarder against the Vikes, could have won that game. So after the first miss, I wonder if there was just a sudden crisis of confidence or not. I'm not sure, but he's veteran enough, I think, to figure it out. All right, I think Mason will come around. Now, Rodgers was bummed too, rightfully so, with his 2 fumbles that turned into the final 10 points right before halftime.
That's frustrating. We've been kind of a one-half team, one good half and one not-so-good half. I was a little off. I missed a couple I usually hit. If I hit Devontae on that first drive, he might score. On a crossing route, they dropped him. Yeah, we missed some opportunities there. Definitely disjointed game, not punting, putting up a lot of offense, and not winning the game.
Strange. We'll talk more about what's going on offensively here as we work our way through. But Aaron was forced to wing it with 2 rookies playing a lot. No Randall Cobb, no Geronimo Alice's, but Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Equanimeous St. Brown came up with 10 catches. MVS found the end zone, and Davante Adams, who led the way with 9 for $140 on a bad calf with a touchdown, he was proud of the kids.
Hell of a job. They stepped up and made plays. I mean, especially not having much game action. I mean, that's big. EQ at the end with a big play like that to get us 3 more. I mean, it didn't end up resulting in a win, but I mean, that's good for his confidence. That's good for him. That's good for the confidence between him and 12. So that's beautiful. So the more reps they get, I'm sure the more comfortable they'll be and continue to make plays.
Yeah, they made some plays out there. That is for sure. Valdes-Scantling, but made a nice grab in the end zone, wide open. Almost got the second one, trying to reach for it. Probably should have beat the defender at the 2 to get in. But there were some routes, and even in one play, it wasn't the kids, but it was Adams and Montgomery literally colliding across the field. Some of that was going on as they had some growing pains. But St. Brown, obviously huge play, catch and run late, showed some ability.
And what hurts is when you get down 24-0, suddenly your second half, you have no running game, right? And then your passing game becomes a little bit more predictable at times. You don't have to worry about the run option. I mean, this team needs balance. Yeah. Especially if you got young wide receivers out there, you need that threat of a running game.
They have balance until it gets away.
That's what I mean, 24-0.
Yeah, you cannot run the ball.
You can't keep doing that to yourself.
All right, well, to come from that far back, the defense had to make some big plays. But Nick Perry and company never could.
Obviously, we made too many mistakes out there, a lot of missed opportunities. We didn't get off to a good start. So, you put all that stuff together, it just didn't turn out the way we wanted it to turn out. So, but they were the better team out there.
They were the better team, I guess. They were. They won the ball game.
Not statistically, but yes, they got more points.
They were
That's
cleaner.
the only stat that matters.
They were cleaner.
Yes, they were.
Half as many penalties.
Yep.
No turnovers.
Yep.
They were cleaner. They were better. So, here we are, 2-2-1, 5 weeks in. Is Mr. Rodgers concerned about his neighborhood? He wouldn't go quite that far.
I'm going to say that I'm aware of where we're at. and we have to play better, myself included. We have to make the plays throughout the game, not just in crunch time, and I got to play better from the start. And I expect to, and I will, and we got to give our defense some more help. Short fields and special teams gaffes. We're not playing great in any of the three phases for an entire game. But hopefully, we'll figure that out at some point and look forward to, next Monday getting back on the right track.
Yeah, the track is that way for sure. Mike McCarthy and the boys are more than a month in, and the mistakes just aren't going away.
We're 5 games into it. I didn't care for some of the things that we know we can do better. So these division games are so important. So we're 2-1, and we got work to do. We got an extra day to get ready for San Francisco.
All right, the Niners. Not the Niners of days gone by, for sure.
Not a good team.
No. With C.J. Beathard at quarterback.
A lot of turnovers in their last game
so
with
let's
C.J.
see what happens. A Monday night before the bye. 31-23.
Think of that. That was a marquee game when Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be the starting QB. That was going to be a nice Monday night battle. Now you should walk away with that game. You should.
They should. And speaking of walking away, got a text. I hate to inform you, folks. Not going to be able to make it, my man. My apologies sincerely. Signed, Antonio Morrison.
Well, at least it was sincere.
He was sincere. He is sincere about that. So
and good to know that you're his man.
I know. So, yeah.
That's
really.
awesome.
So, really. So, sorry about that, folks. But, hey, we'll have some fun.
It happens.
Got plenty of reasons for you to stick around. We're sending somebody to the Packers and Niners game from my friends at Robinson's. We're going to play the hot and cold play. I got my new era Packer hat to give away. Another edition of the 50 greatest Packer players of all time to give away. And Antonio's not on the list, by the way.
And now, without a Packers guest, we can actually talk Brewers for the next 30 minutes.
We could if we wanted to.
All right, let's do it.
Nah, but we're going to stick with the Pack. We are live from the Stadium View. We welcome our listeners from Sheboygan and Wausau, interviewers worldwide on the web. What's going on here at the View, Z?
Well, Singo, my friend.
All
That's
right.
what's going on. Musical bingo every Wednesday from 6 to 9. They've got double bubble every Monday from 10 a.m. till close. Antonio Morrison's going to miss out on that.
I know.
That's how he was going to get paid tonight, with double bubble. And he's missing out on it. Whiskey Duo is going to be playing inside at Stadium View 6 to 9 tomorrow. DJ Trivia every Thursday from 5 to 6:30. And double bubble during all Brewer games. You don't just drink during Packers games.
You got 4 more for sure.
This is Wisconsin.
Right.
You drink during Brewers games, too.
All right, when we come back.
Watch them at the View.
More on what's ailing the Pack. Tough day in Detroit. We'll talk about it when the 5th quarter returns right after this timeout.
Live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill, here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 31-23, Packers fall to the Kitty Cats. You know what? Detroit has beaten the Packers 3 straight times. Anybody want to tell me the last time that's happened? 1990 and 1991. You are exactly right.
Wow.
We're talking 27 years ago. Whew. Packers have 98 wins against Detroit, more than any other franchise. And, remember, the streak went, 25, 26 years without winning in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And now they've won 3 in a row. Holy cow.
Well, they've been a bad franchise for quite some time. I mean, I guess that's not overly surprising. And a lot of that ran through the Favre and Rodgers years. So,
well, I understand that, but they've also they haven't won a division since '91.
Right.
Unbelievable. That franchise. How many coaches have they run through? A ton of them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the exact number. A lot of quarterbacks, too. A lot of QBs,
Well,
a lot
not
of
for
coaches.
the last decade, that's
well,
for
no,
sure.
not with Stafford, sure, but
I just want to check the coach. Here's the list of the all-time great coaches the Packers have dominated since they last won 3 in a row. That was when Wayne Fonts was coach of the Lions in the early 90s. Then they went to Bobby Ross, Gary Moeller, Marty Morningwig, Steve Mariucci, Dick Duran. Boy, a lot of ex-Packer guys there. Rod Marinelli, Jim Schwartz, Jim Caldwell, and now your former DC, Matt Patricia. Good Lord. So what's the issue with the Packers? They're not whole, for one. All right? Rodgers is certainly not whole. The offensive line had Byron Bell for Justin McCray again yesterday. They've missed Cobb and Allison. They had Aaron Jones out early in the season. And so it's not quite all hands on deck yet. And even when it has been, they just haven't been playing together a lot. So I think they've got to get everybody well, and that will happen after the Niner game, in my opinion. So I believe that they will start getting off to better starts once everybody's well, everybody's right, and they can stay healthy for a stretch run.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has not been as sharp as he's been in years past. He freely admits that, knows that he's got to do a better job protecting the ball. He's got to stop missing open guys, or he's got to see the open guys. That happened a couple times yesterday where Adams is wide open, but he goes somewhere else. You know, that stuff happens. Football's a fast game. It's just when he's clicking and that offense is moving, it seems like he never misses.
Yeah.
And we've been spoiled for so many years with him where it seems like every throw is pinpoint perfect. It's between 5 defenders' hands going down the middle of the field and still somehow hits a guy in the numbers. But when he misses those things, those really stand out because we've expected from Aaron Rodgers for all these years to be perfect or as close as you can be in a sports world to being perfect. And he just isn't right now. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with his knee. And
I agree. And he's really Adams reliant right now. And Devontae is, I think, killing it. I really do. He went up against Darius Slay almost one-on-one the entire game.
He was
Slay
great.
Is a Pro Bowler, and it got off to a slow start. Slay was on him, covering him. Aaron had to go elsewhere. But as the game progressed and they really started opening things up, Adams was winning, beating Slay like a drum on those drag routes, sideline moves. Terrific effort. Granted, he probably could have pulled that one in down at the one late.
That's an acrobatic catch.
Yeah, it was a tough play, but 9 for $140 on 12 targets and a touchdown for now the 10th consecutive game for this guy.
Clearly they're number one, like far and away their number one receiver. He's big, he's fast, he makes the catch, and he's good after the catch. Breaks tackles, good in the open field.
He is at his best, in my opinion, 5 yards into the route.
Yeah.
Because he gets separation with his strength and his moves better than anybody on the team, without question.
No, he's really good. And so it's not surprising, especially when you have a couple of young wide receivers on the field, an MVS and an EQ. It's no surprise you continue to look for a Davante Adams because you can pretty much guarantee he's going to be in the right place every time, right?
Yep.
So you look for him.
All right. So what of the running game? Should we make of the running game? Now, Aaron Jones is this year's Jeff Janis, the people's champion. There is a clamor for Aaron Jones to get every snap in every game from here on out.
The difference is Aaron Jones has shown success on the field more frequently than Jeff Janis ever did, outside of being a gunner, which he was excellent at on special teams.
And a pretty fun afternoon in Arizona one day.
Yes, flashes.
I know.
Where Aaron has showed us more than that.
7 for 40 for Aaron Jones yesterday, a 5.7 average, still very solid, busted off an 18-yarder. But Jamal Williams averaged 5.5, 6 for 33. And Ty Montgomery, who in my opinion should be the odd man out here. Let's go from 3 to 2 at least to increase the opportunities for Aaron Jones that route. But the Packers just, for some reason, really love Montgomery, who was targeted 3 times in the passing game and took a pass 23 yards, so a nice play there. That's why they like him.
Oh, I definitely like him as a receiver coming out of the backfield more than I like him as a runner, straight up running back out of the backfield. Yeah, he's definitely got wide receiver skills. So that's where he came from.
Jones and Williams each with 2 catches out of the backfield on checkdowns as well. So where should they go? McCarthy loves playing series by personnel groupings.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. Talked to Aaron again today about it, and he said, I'm not going to gripe or moan about this. I mean, I just got to go in when my number's called and do the best I can. It's a team game. He believes in all 3 of the backs, and there's room for all 3, but I don't think fans are agreeing.
You basically are seeing that, though, in the NFL. It's pretty rare to just have one workhorse star tailback. It's going to the 2 or 3 man game just because it's a much more specialized position now.
I know, and it's too punishing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, but it's more specialized. You have to be able to do multiple things. You have to be a receiver out of the backfield. You have to be able to split into the slot. You have to go wide in some offenses as a running back. They treat you as more of a versatile player. So having 3 guys with different skill sets, I totally get that. And ride the hot hand is ideally, I think, what you would like to do and get your team into a position where you can utilize their skills. But if you're down 20-0 and you're down 24-0, suddenly you can't use any of those guys the way you want to.
That's why they've got to find a way to keep the game even and get those guys more involved. One more thing on the offense. We were so wowed by Jimmy Graham in training camp?
Sure.
He looked like Herman Munster on that back shoulder in the end zone. He did.
Wait. Please explain.
Watch his footwork.
Okay. Oh, so
Okay.
Gotcha.
He's clumsily turning around, and this is supposed to be the athletic,
Right.
great red zone target. And I just didn't see it. He made some nice third down grabs. I'll give you that. But the impact, not good enough for me.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be in every series takeover kind of a guy right now. I mean, he's got a lot of wear and tear on his Herman Munster shoes, I suppose. So, if you can use him in spots and put him in favorable
All right,
matchups.
Peter Boyle and Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Oh, yes.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
Wait, while he's dancing or what?
Putting on the Ritz.
Putting on the Ritz.
All right.
That should be his next touchdown celebration.
Yeah, really.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, I mean, if you can just really, you have him for the red zone, right? I mean, that is where he is the most dynamic. He's a big body. He scores touchdowns. That's where you want him. Everything else you can get from him, no, that's gravy. It seems like maybe he's lost a step. He's slowed down a little bit, and that happens over time.
Well, let's get to the red zone and see what happens, right?
Exactly.
First drive dies at the 23. Next one dies at the 24. The other missed field goals died at around, the 30 and the 25.
You got to finish. That's the biggest problem with the offense. Finish. You're putting up a ton of yards. It wasn't long ago Rodgers was talking about, hey, you put up 420-some yards and this. We should have 40, 50 points. They're getting the yards. They're driving.
20s to the 20s are good.
It looks like they're going to finish things, and then it just it stalls with a turnover or a sack or a dropped ball. They just have to finish.
All right. We're going to take a break. Come back, talk a little bit about the defensive side. Special teams, we'll leave that to Captain Zook to fix.
Was not good yesterday.
No, it was not good. And the flags, also an issue. Talk about some of the nonsensical penalties in that game yesterday that cost the Pack a chance. When we come back, we're going to look for the hot play of the day. And since we've got an open mic tonight with no guest, an opportunity for you to be our guest. If you've got a pressing question you are dying to ask,
or any question,
don't be shy. We'll throw the mic. We'll have open mic Monday tonight on the fifth quarter when we return to the Stadium View right after this. Don't go away. All right, welcome back, everybody. 2 up, 2 down, and 1 sister kiss for the Pack. 5 weeks in. The 49ers coming in 1 week from tonight. Before we get back to our conversation on what happened yesterday in the Motor City, we got to look for our hot play winner and contestant today. You know how it works. You guess the hot play of the day. Our friends from Robinsons will give you a prize to take home tonight, and you'll also get qualified for a grand prize at the end of the year when you get a chance to win some indoor clubs to the rematch with the Kitty Cats on the regular season finale. All right, Dave, who do we got lined up for a hot guest tonight?
We have John.
Johnny.
Do I have to stay with the Packers? Can I go with Brewers?
Oh, for the hot play?
Yeah, Brewers.
Twist my arm, John. Sure.
Go ahead. What was your hot play from the crew?
Winning.
Yeah, all right.
6-0.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. But
what about for
not
the
it.
Packers?
Yeah, we got.
No, wasn't it?
No, we got to stick to Ford Field. So,
how about the field goal at the end?
The last field goal was a feel-good story, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't warm enough to melt an awful lot of cold from Mason Crosby. So, all right, we'll look for another one a little bit later on. Don't be shy. Come on up. You think you know the hot play of the day? Chance to win. I know there weren't many, but there were a few. But if you've already qualified, you only get one shot. So, no repeat offenders coming to the microphone. Come on up. All right, don't be shy.
Chris.
Hey, we got Chris.
The Devontae Adams touchdown.
Devontae Adams touchdown? Ooh. Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
You lose.
Not quite. But thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
But close, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess. Well, now,
touchdown?
serving up a softball.
Scanlon's touchdown?
The what touchdown?
Yeah. MVS.
Oh, I thought he said Janice.
No.
All right. All right. Is he still in the league? Is he with Cleveland?
No, he got cut.
He did?
Aww.
Yeah. All right. Oh, man. Back at Saginaw you go. All right. Yes. The Marquez Valdez Scantling. Hot play. Had to warm up the confidence of a rookie wide receiver.
Graham wide to the right side. Slot set up to the left. Adams and Scantling to the left side. St. Brown in the slot on the right. Snap to Rodgers. fakes the handoff, throws the left side of the end zone, wide open. Valdez-Scantling, touchdown. And Rodgers signals to the sidelines, go for 2.
Yeah, and they went for 2, and they got it, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling nearly had to, but it was his first big chance to shine.
It's always an opportunity. Every day is an opportunity. I just want to go out and try to help my team any way I could. It wasn't enough today, but we want to keep growing, keep progressing, and move on to the next one.
All right, keep plugging there, kid. MVS with his touchdown. John, you're a winner of the hot play. We'll look
Congrats,
for a cold
John.
play in a couple of minutes. He was the middle pick of the 3 between Jamon Moore, who came first, and Equiminius St. Brown, who came last. But clearly, MVS has risen to the top of the class.
Yeah, the offense needs explosion, right? They need guys with explosive playability.
It's a big play league. It's a big play league.
And you saw that with EQ at the end of the game. Could turn it on and has some ability after the catch.
Promise.
But those guys have to learn the playbook, earn the trust.
Yeah, they got to get Cobb and Allison
Get it to
back.
got to be second nature.
All right.
You're right. Yeah, Geronimo Allison's been having a great start to the year.
All right, we got to go to the other side of the ball. And defensively, now we're getting back into this annual cornerback shuffle. Okay?
Kevin King was bad yesterday.
He had a terrible game.
Bad.
And he was even worse today because he got his lower lip all stitched up inside and out. He got stepped on right in the face.
Ooh.
And it was gushing. It was leaking bad. And so he tried to mumble his way through interviews today in the locker room, but it was tough. But he had a really bad day. The punt thing, swears it didn't hit him. Said you could feel a feather. Even though you're padded up, you can feel something hit you. Swears it didn't hit him, but
if it was called on the field that it hit the Lion first, it would have been held up.
Because I thought it hit the Lion first. I think it hit it on
But it's
his
called
arm.
that it hit King, and there was just nothing on any angle where it looked like you could dispute it 100%.
I know. But that got Kevin so messed up, he roughed the kicker.
Yep.
He had a
torched in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, torched in the back of the end zone on the Marvin Jones play. Although that was a zone where he passed him off as Jones is cutting to the inside, and HaHa ran to the corner of the end zone for popcorn, I believe, because there was nobody going that way. I don't know what that was. It was a laughable play from HaHa Clinton-Dix on that coverage.
Yeah.
It was.
Wasn't good. It was ugly. It was ugly.
All right. And no Jair Alexander yesterday.
Right.
Josh Jackson stumbled on the long one to Galladay.
And that was a great play by Galladay. I mean, that's a ball in the right place, and he goes up and makes the play.
He kind of got nudged up, on the way up, and then threw the rookie off. He's just got to stay physical. I don't think there's any question about that. But he had a face mask penalty as well.
Yep.
And so Tony Brown's forced to play in some packages. And we all saw what happened with Mr. Brown. A third down stop as the Packers are surging back. And he taunts the guy by pushing his helmet into the ground, getting up and staring at him. I don't think he said anything ridiculous, but the flag comes out.
Why
Drive
do it?
continues.
Yeah, why do
Granted,
it?
they didn't score, but a stupid penalty from Brown. So they've got to get some continuity in that secondary again, because it's a problem.
Well, and we talked about the offense needing hot starts. So does the defense. How many games now where they almost pitch shutouts in the second half?
Well, let's see. Washington, they were down big, gave up 3.
That's it.
Shut out the Bills. 7 yesterday.
Right. And the Bears in the second half. You were fine there defensively. It's those first half. You got to start fast and make a statement.
But again,
get a turnover early.
Yeah, that's true. Then
momentum swings.
Like I said, though, at the top, Z, they're on the 1.
I know.
After the turnover.
I know.
Hard to keep them out.
Yeah.
They're at the 29 and go in. They're at the 29 again, and they only give up a yard.
Right.
And adversity defense gets them off the field. Down to down, I'm okay with what we're seeing from Mike Pettin. I'm okay with it. They're going to give up plays. The other guys are good too, all that sort of thing. I understand that. But there's issues at the back end. Still. Miscommunication, still not right. They got to get it figured out soon. So that's the defensive side of the ball. We'll get to the special teams when we come back. And again, don't be shy. If you got any questions you want to fire at us, we'll gladly hear. And we had a hot play winner. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look for the cold play of the day on a rainy day in Detroit. And now it's raining here again in Green Bay. Fifth quarter returns to the Stadium View right after this timeout. All right, welcome back, everybody. A couple more segments to go after the Packers fall to the Lions, and the 49ers are coming. We had a hot play winner in time for Robinsons to give away our cold play package. You guess the play. Take it home and get qualified for the grand prize at the end of the year. Line them up. Who we got for the cold play?
First of all, we have Chris again.
Hi, I think it might be cold plays with Mason Crosby's missed field goals.
You've got 5 guesses for the cold play. Yeah. Easily the chilliest day of poor Mason Crosby's career. Any of the missed 4 field goals or the missed extra point will do. Mason in the locker room yesterday, as I said, stand-up guy, just never saw that one coming.
Honestly, it just felt good in pregame. My warm-up was excellent, so just couldn't find the lines today. I just kept adjusting, and it just didn't. It wasn't going in. So disappointing. Obviously, being inside, how I've been hitting the ball. It's for me that just feels like one of those days because I feel extremely good this year with how I'm striking it. So we'll get back to work and make sure it doesn't happen again.
The most head-scratching thing is there was no weather.
It's a dome.
Yeah, I mean, if there was wind and rain and sleet, whatever, things like that, your footing is off. But you get perfect conditions when you're in a dome. That was what was the most head-scratching about his just inability yesterday to get locked in.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It was a mess.
Yeah,
it was just an abject mess for Mason. And again, we talked about his career. I think it's been really solid.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody's got his back. We'll see how he responds. But this is a prolonged spot. It took Mike Zimmer, 2 weeks?
Well, yeah.
To fire a drafted kicker. Did you see the game? With one of the great quotes.
That's easy when a guy doesn't have any resume. But for Mason Crosby, that's a long history of being excellent in this league.
All right, but anyway, nice job, Chris. You got our cold play of the day, so you are in. But Mason's day was really the highlight of just an unbelievable day for special teams. We talked about Kevin King's play. Tramon Williams probably has to fair catch that ball, all right? And if you go into traffic and collide with a guy getting locked up in a block, I think you're going to get the benefit of a doubt on that sort of a situation. So make the fair catch. Ty Montgomery's kickoff return, beautiful run back.
Yeah, the hold.
And Josh Jones, now he got that ball on the right numbers and took it to the right sideline, and Josh Jones is blocking the left gunner. He is 30 yards across the field and 25 yards behind the play.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason to hold. And if you're wondering why we're not seeing more Josh Jones on the field, that's why. It's just not very smart. Got caught, and it comes back. They were offside on a kickoff. They changed the rules this year where you stationary start at the line. It's got to be impossible for you to go before the kicker kicks the ball. Yet the Packers did.
Yeah, that should never happen. That's just a lack of mental focus, right? That's just one of those little things where you still have to pay attention. You can't just take it for granted. You have to be locked in for 60 minutes.
Unbelievable. Special teams were really tough, and I think they have been fairly good all year, and in the last couple of years under Ron Zook. There were no punt returns, obviously. The one kickoff return came out, kind of squirted out to the 30, but that was it. The rest were all I think Scott's doing okay, in my opinion, as a rookie punter.
Yeah.
When he gets a chance to punt.
Right.
Had the day off yesterday, although he was holding for 5 kicks, I think, 6. So, but yeah, it was a very bad day. And the penalties are a problem. 12 for a $112. But no roughing the passers, which is good. They've gotten that out of the way. Has anybody been called for roughing the passer in the last 2 weeks in the NFL? I don't think so.
It does seem like...
Has there been? All right.
I'm sure it's happened, but it does seem like it's slowed down, right?
I think they just told the officials, let's calm down here on this.
And I think it was because they were just getting such bad press.
Yeah.
And when it kept happening to Clay Matthews, it was all right. Now it looks like we're targeting
this
guy.
Let's save it for the really ugly hits.
Yes.
Late throwdowns, everything else. The stuff Matthews was doing.
And that ultimately is the way, as a fan, you want to see that play out is okay. Maybe overreact at first, but then realize you're overreacting. Chill out on those calls. Let the guy start playing, and just save it for the egregious, over-the-top type hits.
But 55 penalties now in 5 games.
It's not great.
Not good.
Not great at all.
They're way up there. It's a runaway train on the laundry, so they're going to have to get that figured out. Combative penalties, your pass interference, your holds, things like that are understandable. It's the pre-snap penalties and
taunting.
The taunting.
Yeah, those types of things.
Got to go away, or it's
clean
going
that
to
up.
really derail the pack. So, done with Detroit. Update on the NLDS. Dodgers 3, Braves 2, top of the 6th.
Go
Dodgers,
Braves.
Yeah, we want the Braves to win. Send this to 5 to tax both those teams before they come to Miller Park for Game 1 of the National League Championship Series, folks.
Yeah,
on Friday.
If the game goes to a Game 5, Kershaw is going to pitch for the Dodgers on Wednesday.
So the Brewers won't see them until they sweep, right?
Yes. Maybe don't have to see him at all.
That
so
would
we
be
want
nice.
the Braves to win. Absolutely. Push this thing to 5 games.
But what a fantastic story. This is all a little too soon. We thought they grew up too quick last year to get into contention and miss the playoffs by 1 game.
Yes.
And David Stearns, who's about the age of my daughter, I think he's 32.
Yeah.
No,
he's young.
Yeah,
real young.
But he learned the Houston way of doing things. And Houston built and drafted and developed and got there rapidly.
Yep.
And won it all. And now Stearns has learned his lesson, has made very shrewd veteran moves for that clubhouse down the stretch in the second half. He said, forget going after starting pitching at ridiculous prices.
Yep.
And said, let's build a bullpen. And look what the strength of that team is.
It absolutely is. And that's the way you've been seeing baseball trend the last few years when you get to playoff times. You could probably say it started with Kansas City, but that was a team where if you can get 4 innings out of a starter, you come in with...
Do they even count complete games anymore? Is that an official stat?
It's very rare.
It's rare.
It's rare that Brewers starters factor in decisions now. You know, it's very rare that those guys factor in a decision because they're only asked to go 4 innings, maybe not even go a complete 5, so you don't technically qualify.
So Chacin's 15 wins
for a
in the
decision.
regular season is like Mickey Lolich.
He was the only guy we had that had 10 or more wins as a starter.
Yeah.
The next guy was Chase Anderson with 9.
Yeah.
And that's because your bullpen factors
All right.
into so many wins. And this bullpen is excellent. The starting pitching with Chacin and Miley is sneaky good.
Yes.
Everyone is overlooking that fact.
3 runs in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
The tiebreaker and the 3-game series. That's just unbelievable.
28 innings against the Rockies. They scored in one of those
Team that
innings.
averaged about 8 runs a game.
And that was
Yeah,
2
just
runs.
stupid.
That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, shutout baseball.
And how about Yelich? Christian Yelich, you're going to be your National League MVP.
Clearly.
He became my favorite Brewer in May. Okay, I just love the way he plays baseball.
Yeah, he's great.
And he has not disappointed at all.
No,
Fantastic
he's-
kid, unbelievably humble, and
He is
really good.
the epitome of being a we guy, a team guy, never a me guy. I truly believe he didn't even realize some of the stats he was putting up in September.
Yeah, they
It
had to
was
remind
just-
him. Yeah, that's your first Grand Slam. Oh, that's your first cycle. Well, that's your second cycle.
He's just
You
in
know,
the moment
jeez
and playing
Louise.
baseball.
Yeah.
He is so good. And you mentioned David Stearns, GM of the year. I mean, what he's done to overhaul that roster. And
Gee, traded the top prospect in Lewis Brinson. What did he hit this year, Z?
yeah, right.
199
Yeah,
for the Marlins.
under 200.
And
Under
you got
200.
a batting champion out of the deal for the next couple of years. Wow.
You bring in Yelich, you bring in Kane, you bring in Chacin, you bring in Miley, Eric Kratz, an extremely underrated pickup. Curtis Granderson contributing, Gio Gonzalez
Yeah,
contributing
it's
in
fun.
September down the stretch. He's made so many moves that no one on the national scene even cared about, and they all pay off for this team.
And
He's
they all-
finding the right
and
guys.
They all did something at least once down the stretch for a team that has now won 11 straight and will host the National League Championship Series as the best team in the National League. Just unbelievable.
And the decisions to send Domingo Santana to the minors, Arcia to the minors, and to have them come back and continue to be contributors.
Yeah.
He just pushes all the right
it's been
buttons.
fun.
It's
It's been
uncanny.
fun.
This is a special season, and let's hope they keep
How
riding
special?
this thing.
This has got to be the Brewers' year, ladies and gentlemen, for they clinch a playoff spot at Busch.
Right.
All right. They take the first 2 playoff games at Miller, and then they win a series at Coors.
Yeah, it's a beer. It's a beer
Busch,
series.
Miller, Coors.
It's beer.
All right.
This is Wisconsin's year for baseball. It
I
has
guess.
to be.
Gotta be. It's a
Has
beer
to be.
year. Fear the beer. We're going to take a break. When we wrap up, we're sending somebody to the Packers and the 49ers. Glad you signed up tonight. We'll make it worth your while. We'll wrap the show up right after this timeout.
We now return you to the 5th quarter, live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill. Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Again, apologize for Kentrell Bryce's bum wheel and Antonio Morrison's late cancellation with apologies. So I appreciate you hanging in there. A couple of other quick notes. The Packers are in the same boat as the Cleveland Browns, 2-2-1, and the Minnesota Vikings, who held off the Eagles. Super Bowl champs are not very good.
The Eagles are a mess right now.
They
for
are
sure.
a mess right now. So the Vikes are 2-2-1. The Bears are off the bye. Drew Brees can become the all-time passing yardage leader tonight, past both Peyton and Brett Favre. Good for Drew. One of the
Great for
greatest
Drew
guys
Brees, yeah.
ever. My daughter went to college in New Orleans, and one of the first people she actually ran across was Drew Brees and his wife at the zoo.
Really?
Yes, and they became in touch. And he's just a classic. He's just a classically good guy.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Very cool. Did he go to your daughter's wedding?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
No, he did not. Sorry.
All right.
He was in a mini camp, I believe. Rookie quarterbacks went 4-0 yesterday. First time that's ever happened. All 4 of those rookies starting Baker, Darnold, Jones, Rosen, and Allen. All won games yesterday. Silly.
It's a young man's game.
It's a young man's game. Yeah, and it's turning
and
me
it could
old in a
also
hurry.
point towards
and those games like yesterday will
sloppy play too early in the season.
All right. Well, let's see what they can do here with an extra day to prepare. 49ers are coming in next. They're not very good. With Kyle Shanahan, they had big hopes with Jimmy Garoppolo until the ACL tear. C.J. Beathard and the Niners a week from
he
tonight.
Was bad
Fifth
yesterday.
quarter will be next Tuesday night, obviously,
Right.
the day after. And I'll get somebody by the collar and drag them over here for sure. I guarantee you that. So, who's going to the Packers and Niners? Thanks to our friends at Robinson's.
Chris Lesperance.
Is that our Coldplay guy, too?
Little double dip.
Is it? Nice. Going to the ball game. Appreciate you coming out. We got some much more to give away, so don't go away. For Matt Z, I'm Mark Daniels. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday night. So long.